This is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. This is the start of Lara Croft's Survivor Trilogy, which is an incredible collection of 3 games where you get to see her basically become this powerful, tomb-raiding individual that is attempting to survive against terrifying odds in this original story, basically an origin where she's a young woman that's out there just really trying to explore and discover and kind of completely unprepared for the crazy things that are about to happen. It's a really intense opening, and again, generally just an absolutely fantastic game. This was a mind-blowing experience at the kind of tail end of the PlayStation 3 era, and just a game that has really, to me, held up so beautifully well. And something I really do hope we get to see sort of touched up again at some point down the road. I think it's one of those games that certainly will have a lot of good legacy behind it, gameplay-wise. So this is one of those games where, again, it came out right at the end of the PlayStation 3 era. It's just a mind-blowing visual showcase and great revamp for Lara Croft from Crystal Dynamics. And then, what a weird way to say that. Yeah. So anyways, uh-oh. This looks so amazing still today. Like I was saying, then it got a definitive edition early on in the PlayStation 4 console generation. And on PlayStation, there was the extra benefit of this game actually running at a higher frame rate. So what we're getting here is 1080p at 60 FPS. Now, that doesn't sound necessarily terribly exciting, but with the PlayStation 5 Pro, we're actually getting some sharpening on the visual elements of the game, like edges and text and details that do actually make this game look a little bit better. So it's 1080p, 60 FPS, like I said, and then, yeah, you just kind of benefit from some sharpening elements. And this one, it actually does quite help with the game's visuals. Like, 1080p is, you know, still 1080p, and this is literally just a resolution technology scaling kind of thing, right? Like, it's not going to increase the resolution, it's just sharpening and scaling the edges of the experience to make it look better. There we go, that's a better way to phrase it, but I do think the results here are still quite splendid, and regardless, this is a game that holds up very well. And one of those games that, hilariously, I do sort of almost wish gets that ridiculous PlayStation treatment of getting remade all the time. I think this game could look even better with the technology they've kind of gotten in the games that follow, with, well, Rise and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Those games kind of building upon the visual mechanics and style of play that were set with this one. And, yeah, the results just absolutely fantastic here. This is a very, very good-looking game. I think it holds up quite well. And the performance behind it, too. And yeah. Quite love this one, honestly. I really do genuinely find this to be great. And this year in general, for, like, gaming stuff, like, right at the end of the generation, I kind of feel like we were almost sort of getting, like, some of the best games that we got. Like, like, early on, there was some amazing stuff in that, like, PlayStation 3 era, but yeah, that kind of last year, that cross-gen year, there were some pretty great games that were releasing around that time. And yeah, this is one of those. I always forget how intense this opening segment is, too. Like, it really sets the stage for, like, you know, what they were wanting to do with this game, the vision of it. It's just to, like, imagine the trauma as she's trying to survive, and she's just like, what is going on? And this is when they were starting to do the controller sound stuff, too, so your controller makes, you know, audio sounds based on what's happening in the environment, and this actually looks pretty great on the PlayStation side of things. Huh. That extra little bit of resolution compared to, like, what Xbox was getting makes sort of all the difference, honestly. It really does. But this is a game I would like to see. I think you would kind of almost remake at this point. It's weird, I'm used to, because I'm on PlayStation now, I'm used to getting game's like remade almost too fast, but I don't know, remastering just to bump this resolution up further, probably look even cleaner. But yeah, I guess the diminishing returns on that too. You'd have to kind of like clean up like texturing and stuff in the environment, I guess, as well. I don't know. Anyways, it's still a great game, and it's still definitely one you should play if you have somehow never experienced this this game. It really is great. I also remember how exciting it was seeing them like kind of teasing this game definitive edition wise. They're like, Lara Croft now reacts to the, like, if there's like a fire, she'll like kind of move her hand around it and stuff, and which is kind of funny. Or if there's like, what else is there? Like, she actually dries, and like sweat and stuff dries on her over the course of the game, and as you're moving around and stuff, and it's like little details you really wouldn't notice. But they were attempting to, you know, kind of justify the upgrade and stuff. It was mostly about resolution improvement, frame rate, and, you know, kind of getting things running. Well, for Xbox, they had to get an FPS boost that kind of gave them that, but yeah, PlayStation was always just like a nice experience. This was like the best way to kind of enjoy this Tomb Raider adventure was on the PlayStation at the time, which is kind of wild. Still actually is, now that I think of it, yeah, because the Xbox side, they never got a resolution bump up or anything. So, bit of a shame. I think I'm supposed to, if I'm not mistaken, I'm supposed to get stuff in there. Yeah, I'm supposed to raise this. And then the stuff gets thrown in there and it's on fire. And then I'm supposed to come over here and then push it, and then the stuff goes over in that, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, these games, they had puzzles too. They weren't as intensive as like the puzzles we get in some of the older Tomb Raider stuff. Definitely a lot easier going. Like, this was a really, really action-packed opening to this game. I just remember this being like the craziest thing. I was like, holy. And then when you get outside, it's just this like mind-blowing kind of visual showcase. Yeah, this is how you start the Tomb Raiding experiences, is what this is. Very, very good job on, you know, this from Square, like, honestly. Well, Square was publishing it, and then, yeah, I guess all the cheering should go to Crystal Dynamics, but yeah. I guess cheers on Square for publishing this at the time, and then, you know, crazily selling off Tomb Raider and that. Like, I couldn't imagine selling one of gaming's most beloved icons like this. Also, how did this person get here? Yeah, because this was... Oh no! Lara Croft, no! That's on me. That's on me, that's on me. Anyways, yeah, like I was saying, I couldn't imagine... Oh, and it loads so much faster too. Selling off like one of gaming's most iconic characters. Maybe like literally the most iconic female character in gaming. Right? Ugh, sucks to suck, bro. Yeah, that was really weird of them to do that, but I guess the games just never really hit their expectations. Which I always thought were a little crazy, but it is what it is. Come on, Lara Croft, that torch is not worth the effort here. Climb, climb! See, it's just everything here is so frantic, and, you know, the big quick time events of the time where everything was like fast moving and crazy. And this game is incredible. I also love it too because it really does, from like a basic survival thing, really show her like coming into her own and being like having to do stuff in order to survive. It was awesome. I think this will be one of the great games I remember throughout my life, honestly. I love that they iterated upon this with future Tomb Raider games afterwards, but there is something about this one that's just like really quite a perfect game. See this opening right here where you come out and it's over the bay, and like, I don't know if it looks as mind-blowing now to people, but back over a decade ago, this was pretty amazing. This was like, whoa, you know, it was really exciting. And then, yeah, there's all these collectibles you gather. It's linear, but a little bit open in how you go to certain segments, some little free areas. But yeah, most of it is very linear, and you can kind of re-explore after you've done things. And it's mostly story focused. There's also like a multiplayer portion of this game too. That was a lot of fun. I really liked the multiplayer in this. I thought it was very, very good. Voice control. Funny. Yeah, because I don't know if you ever checked that out, but they did, like, every game around this time had to have some kind of shoehorned in multiplayer thing. I guess we still kind of do that in video games, honestly. But yeah, these, like, single-player games where you're like, does it need a multiplayer? Not really. And it's like, but it's the expectation to do that. And it was actually a lot of fun. Like, it was one of those zany... Like, when you do multiplayer games in this type of game, they're always, like, over-the-top, zany, ridiculous. And that's kind of what you got, was like two sides kind of facing off against each other. Good luck finding players. The last time I was actually able to find players was when Xbox kind of dropped it on Game Pass, and there was actually a lot of people playing. Yeah, and that was a lot of fun revisiting that, because I actually think the multiplayer in this game is really, really good. Yeah. Really, really good experience. So if you can ever find people, it's really cool. But the campaign itself is worth it. And as I said, it leads into, like, it's a full trilogy, so all three of them are, like, really, you know, nice experiences together. Uh-oh. She's just getting thrown around. You gotta remember, too, she's got this, like, huge hole in her, like, around her rib cage and stuff like that. Like, she just gets absolutely just thrashed around at the beginning of this game. It's quite wonderful.
Sam's pack.
I mean, it's terrible for her, but, you know, it's really action-packed.
Sam! They must have come this way.
Oh yeah, Sam, that character you completely forget about in the later ones.
Sam? Roth? Can anyone hear me? I've got to find them.
Where is everybody? No, that's not good. I feel so bad for her. She needs a hug. I know. Oh. Like, I mean, could you imagine this happening to you? Shipwreck, clocked on the back of the head, dragged into a fort or into a cave place, break free, land on a spike thing, get thrown around by rocks, somebody's chasing you, solving puzzles, like you fall off a giant plane you have to climb. And just like, holy, what a brutal situation. And then you're out and it's raining and you're freezing.
Is anyone listening? Please respond.
The last match. You got this, Croft. Nice. I feel so bad for her. Anyways, let's skip till morning when we actually go out and do stuff.
Here's the soon-to-be world-famous.
Yeah, that's just Sam talking right there. They finish off her side narrative in a comic spin-off or something like that. She just vanishes in the next two games. It's kind of funny.
I can't just sit here.
Woman versus Wild.
I've got to find something to eat. Oh, God.
Hey, that looks like a bow that could be useful.
I can use
That could be my definitive weapon. This really does look fantastic. Like, it holds up so well to me. And I know it's got some age stuff to it, but again, keep in mind, this is like over a decade old, right? Well, I guess the definitive's slightly newer, but even that's like really getting on a decade here, right? Yeah, what's one more fall, am I right? I'm surprised she isn't trying to like wrap up that wound in her like abdomen there.
remember Roth's training.
You can have the best form and technique in the world, but it won't mean a thing if you can't focus. The key to
We must collect meat from the deer so we do not starve.
I'm so hungry. I need to find something to eat.
Hey, how convenient that there's arrows here.
Some kind of container. Who left these behind?
Really cool hearing the sound of everything on your controller. Strangely immersive, actually. And I usually hate the sound on the controller, too. Yeah, you can actually hear like the bow kind of like creaking on the controller, too. I thought I shot that deer pretty good. Yum, yum, yum. Did I have a knife? I don't remember. Did she have a knife or not? Mercy, kill it already, Croft. Don't be a monster. Get in there. Oh, gal, you know, embrace your inner Tomb Raider. I think, apparently from them trying to combine this with the other Tomb Raider stuff, she goes from this to like straight up shooting tigers with dual pistols in only a few years. Oh yeah, she didn't have a knife, right? Girl gotta eat.
Right, back to camp.
all right, Lara. You won't always have some fancy gadget to tell you where you are.
Kind of a crazy opening,
The
right?
land and the stars. You'll always be able to find your way home.
Oh, that GPS cache. Actually, how do you get to that? You're supposed to like climb around a specific way? Yeah, that's where you get my skill points.
This is Conrad Roth, captain of the Endurance. We are wrecked on an island inside the Dragon's Triangle.
Roth!
Lara,
You're alive!
easy, easy. Are you okay? What happened?
I remember the beach. Then it went black and I woke up in a cave. There was this crazy man, Roth, and a dead body.
Oh, God. Where are you now, Lara? Are you safe?
It was so horrible. It's all my fault. This is all my fault.
Lara, listen to me. I sent an SOS from the Endurance before I abandoned her. Hopefully someone caught it. I've spoken to the others. We're regrouping at my location.
Please come and get me.
I have to stay here. You can do this, Lara. Remember when we climbed Snowden? You said the key was knowing that all you've got to do is just keep moving. Remember everything I've taught you, Lara. You're ready for this. And keep your radio on.
Okay.
Off we go.